This is my bookshelf. It's never fully complete. It's never full of books. It needs more books and more books and more books and more books. It needs more books. I have one that I'm working on, a workbook, and I have one in my purse I still haven't finished because I've been neglecting it. But so far, so good. This is my shelf. My husband's books are in the bottom corner. Cookbooks are in the middle. And then everything else is mine. The printer is both of ours. And then I have some oversized books on the top under that roll of tape. Usually we have a book under the pile of paper. So the printer knows that paper is there. Because that little stopper thing, it got lost a long time ago. Printers, technology, they said technology would be smarter, but I think it gets dumber every year in every invention and every type of technology. They just get dumber and dumber and dumber. Like if you lose that little stopper thing from a printer, then the printer doesn't even know that there's paper in it. Why can't they make that thing, like, not detachable? Or make a sensor instead of a plastic doodad. Doy. So, here's my husband's airplane stuff. He has some airplane heavy-duty magazines, his atlases, and his airplane books. And then we have our cookbooks. A mac and cheese book we bought in Tillamook. Instant Pot, Casserole, Betty Crocker, and then we have all these books. So I have some bigger books that are paperback. These are kind of like all my kid books, if you will, that I bought in the last 2.5 years. My mother got rid of all my childhood books. You don't do that as a parent. It doesn't matter if your kid is grown up, you keep the classics, the ones that your kids love the most. Because someday they want to reread it. They don't want to have to spend the money on it, but you know what? I had to do that. So I have a handful of I Can Reads, but I have a lot of picture books, these ones that you don't see the spines of, because they're turned upright. And I have a couple of chapter book novels, Dear America, Tuck Everlasting, a nice one called After that I have read many times, my high school years. Classic Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, and Forgotten Fire of a novel based on the Armenian genocide of the early 1900s. Yes, I admit there was an Armenian genocide. The president of Turkey says, no, didn't happen. The Kardashians know that it happened. And then other presidents throughout the world deny that it happened. Weird. I guess they only want to admit there was one Holocaust, aka Nazis. They don't want to admit that there was a Holocaust long before it. I have these science books I bought on Facebook from a meetup. They're kind of dated, like 2005, but they're kind of cool. There's one pair of 3D glasses inside one of them, but any pair of 3D glasses will do justice. I bought a high school level atlas a while ago. Now, here's my older books. Kind of the one-room schoolhouse style, if you will. A McGuffey 6-reader, which in today's layman terms is more of a college level. And then I have Ray's Primary Mathematics. I have a book that was my grandma's book. It was just a reader. And it was my grandma's book when she was a kid in the 40s, 30s, 20s, whatever. And then I have this one that I bought, English Grammar. It's like the Ray's Primary, basically. And I have all my textbooks that I bought. Goodwill, everything except the top one. I bought all these. Goodwill, Value Village, eBay, Amazon used. The language one I bought on Amazon. Kind of a waste of money. Then I have all my workbooks, and I have a few piano books in there as well. I like some of these, and I've done the pages in some of them, like the Math Grade 6, Math Grade 5, the History Detective books, the Word Search book, and that blue book with no writing on the spine. I think that's a multiplication division drill book. I got this one, the Figuratively Speaking. It's challenging. It's like work that I probably should have had in middle school, but teachers use some other materials instead. It's critical thinking skills, and it's difficult. And then I have the classic, there's 3 more books on Amazon. One is like pre-order. The other 2 are geometry and chemistry, and I will buy them eventually. Maybe I'll buy them at Costco. And then here's more. It's kind of like non-fiction, biography, sociology-ish. Whatever it takes is a Degrassi. Like the history of all the Degrassi franchises. Got a selected letter writings for Ingalls Wilder. Some special ed kind of books and some skinny books. Here's the slightly oversized but not too big. And then I have a lot of books that are on institutions and one-room schoolhouses and special needs, and institutions and one-room schoolhouses and institutions and one-room schoolhouses, and then that hardcover one with that boy's face. I think my Amazon got hacked, and it was on the bottom of my list, but I never ordered it. So, I've said this about a few other items before. I think my Amazon has been hacked, and someone decided, I'm gonna hack someone's Amazon, go to their wish list, and send them the things that they did not order, but they intended to order or put on their list. Whoever did that, kind of a fuck you. You don't hack someone's list. Even if I add it to my list, doesn't mean I want it. I haven't read it. It's about orphanages in Vietnam. And then more institution books and one-room schoolhouse books. A lot of them are like anthologies written by nonprofits on one-room schoolhouses in their areas, and others are like diaries of one-room schoolhouse teachers from the early 1900s. And then up here I have a National Geographic Atlas, and what else? Oh, a book on an institution and a book on schools called the Schools of Hope, Rosenwald Schools. I have like 4 more books on Rosenwald Schools. They were kind of cool. They were like charter schools before charter schools were a thing. More on that later, on another topic, on another video. But anyways, that is my bookshelf. And yeah, a 9-minute video about my bookshelf and all the books I have. I want to be a teacher someday. I'm 31 years old and still have no degree. But maybe one day I'll get there and I'll get enough credentials to work freelance and be a private tutor. I don't want to work for the man, and I don't want to teach standardized testing. So, I have my own resources. Everything else I just look at on YouTube so I don't spend the money. Okie dokie, that's my shelf. Have a goodbye. Goodbye.